Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. Today I have a double IPA. Now this is kind of interesting for me. Basically, since I started doing these reviews two and a half years ago, I've exposed myself to various different beer styles and beer companies, breweries, whatever the case might be. So I've exposed myself to quite a few beers. But I found over that time, being a North American, I was raised in my younger years, I was exposed to mostly the mass-produced beers, your Budweiser, your Coors, your Labatt's type of thing. And that's what I used to drink. And I found out since I started the reviews, exposed myself to different beer styles, if I go back to the mass-produced beer, I kind of find them boring, kind of flavorless. But the one thing throughout all that, I've never been a fan of beers that are very hoppy, such as IPAs and double IPAs. Not that I don't like them, just they haven't been my favorite style. But lately I find I've almost been craving an IPA, been craving a hoppy beer. So this one is a double IPA, so I'm not quite sure where that's going to sit on my palate more or less, whether or not I'm going to like it or not. But I just find it interesting that as I expose myself to newer beer styles and whatnot, that my tastes have been changing. And honestly, I never ever thought I would crave an IPA, but lately I find myself I'm craving a hoppy IPA beer. So this one is a double IPA, so that should be interesting. And for IPAs in general, people might ask you why they're hoppy. Basically, the four basic ingredients in beer are water, hops, barley, and yeast. With that being said, IPAs, Indian Pale Ales, were the beers for the soldiers in India. And what it was that they were sending the regular beers, I guess they were pale ales and different ales, they were trying to send them from Britain to India for the troops, but the problem was the beers weren't lasting the trips, they were going bad. So what they started doing was adding extra hops as a preservative so the beers would make it to India. And they ended up calling them India Pale Ales. And once again, this one is a local beer, and it's a double IPA, and it's out of Lab City, Labrador. Iron Rock Brewing Company. It's established 2018, and the name of this one is Hop Shocker. And it's a strong beer at 8%. And this is one of the ones that a while back I actually mentioned it. My buddy Mike, he does a lot of traveling, so he was on a business trip up in Labrador, and he came back and gave me a few beers. Gotta love friends like that. Alright, so there's a little thing on the side of it. It says loaded with hops and shockingly juicy. This citrus-heavy double IPA is decisively smooth while packing on an intense aroma. We know we're supposed to treat all of our children equally, but we can't help but show this one an extra little love. And it says ingredients: water, malted barley, hops, cane sugar, yeast, and contains gluten. So I've already given my glass a quick cold water rinse, as per usual. So let's see how this one's going to roll. Basically, my beers, I always give them rate them out of 5. With a 1 being a drain pour, don't like it, can't finish it. A 2 would be, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. A 3 being a good beer, a 4 being a very good beer, and a 5 would be the best beer ever. Now these ratings, there's no science behind it. It's just basically my preference. So we'll see how this one goes. And I can actually smell the hops from here. I'm not even, drinking the beer, and I can already smell the hops. And they actually said that on the can. Intense aroma. And this one definitely has it. The hops are that strong, I can smell it from here. So a little bit closer, and it is loaded with hops. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of hoppy beers, but I'm craving it for whatever reason. So just from the smell, I can, if I didn't know what it was, I'd automatically think, okay, obviously it's an IPA. But the big question is, how does it taste? Wow. That is hoppy. I've had hoppier beers, but it's definitely hoppy. And what I mean by hoppy, it's bitter type of thing. But it's funny, like I said, before I would have tasted that, I would have, but now I'm not saying I love it, but it's actually something I've been craving. My taste buds, obviously, they're developing, I guess. And I'm enjoying it. Now, with that being said, I can't ever see me going out and buying a 6-pack of IPAs at a party and, drinking them throughout the night, but for whatever reason, I crave them. So this one for a rating wise, It's got like I said, lots of hoppy taste. And kind of get the citrusness out of it, but not a lot. I think the hoppiness is basically overwhelming anything else other than the hop flavor and hop aroma. It's definitely flavorful. Rating wise, I'm thinking 3.0. Although I'm enjoying it, I can't see me ever sitting down drinking more than one at a time. But with that being said, as my taste buds develop, I guess I could change. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with 3.0, which means it's a good beer. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're an IPA fan, by all means, you might take one sip and go, wow, that's a 4, that's a 4.5. And once again, I'm no beer expert. It's just what I like and what I don't like. So it's definitely bitter / hoppy. Definitely flavor there. I'm not getting as much of the citrus heaviness as I expected or would like. That's not a bad beer. And I think it would satisfy my IPA craving. So there you go, folks, for the Iron Rock Brewing Company's Hop Shocker Double IPA 3.0. Hopefully you can join me next couple of days. I got one more local beer, actually from the same brewery there. And my beer box, my beer club just arrived, and I have no idea what's in there, so maybe I'll open that. Until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.